Macs aren't expensive. My M1 Air cost me $300. Let me explain. Welcome back to the channel. I think I have a perfect example on how Macs don't have to be that expensive. And I have a real world example you want to see. Now, before I get into that, I had an M1 MacBook Air. I've done a lot of videos on it. I bought that during COVID. So back during COVID, 2020, it was a whole bunch of stuff going on back then, and I basically picked it up. Obviously, computers were selling like hotcakes. Everyone needed a home computer because of COVID, so everyone picked up computers at that time, and the M1 Air came out. Now, I waited a little bit longer. I waited about 6 months. I think it came out in November-ish of 2020. I think I waited to around 2021, right in the beginning there, and I picked one up. Now, I got a sale on it because I waited. It was only $850 at Best Buy. $850 for that. And now you can get it for even cheaper, but back then it was $850, and that's what I picked it up for. But if you watch my last video, I talked about getting a 15-inch MacBook Air, and I talked about it because it was a dilemma, because I never told people to get that if you upgraded a 15-inch MacBook Air. I always told them to get the MacBook Pro. It's a way better deal. But Best Buy had another massive sale for $13.99, and I picked up the fingerprint magnet here. You can see it here. It's already got them on there. And I'm going to skin it, I think, because I can't take the fingerprints, but the machine's awesome. So it's 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabyte SSD, and I'm going to be doing some videos on this thing just to see how fast it is with that upgraded, RAM and SSD. But overall, I got this anyway, and I ended up getting rid of my M1 MacBook Air. So let's talk about this a little bit more. This is for a different video. I actually just wanted to kind of share this with you guys because I had this in the last video. What was I going to do? I did pick one up. The price was just too good. It was so much, with that kind of a discount, you're basically getting all those upgrades for free. Now this thing's a pretty big powerhouse, but that's not what this video is all about. So let's get into the M1. Well, I guess this computer plays a little bit more of a role. So when I was going to go purchase this, I actually said, well, I'm going to keep my M1 Air. I was going to keep it actually for this channel, but then I looked it up. And I went to Best Buy, I looked up on their trade-in prices, and I saw that they were going to give me $550, all right? So let me put this in perspective for you. I bought it, now listen to this, I bought it for $850 3 years and 1 month ago. 3 years and 1 month ago. It's selling for $750 new right now. You can buy it new for $750. Best Buy is giving me $550 for this. So even if I go with $850 for the price I bought it for, the M1 cost me $300 over 3.2 years. Think about that for a second. I mean, if you go to McDonald's with a family of 3 for basically 2 times out, it's $100. That's $100 a year for 3 years basically that you're buying an M1 MacBook. Now, at the end of the day, people always complain how expensive they are. I get all these comments, get the Mac haters and stuff. But I mean, think about that for just a split second, that return is such a huge, on your investment. It's a no-brainer, right? And some of the other Macs are even better. So you just have to kind of weigh those options because that's real money in your pocket. It's always just, it's something that you don't think about, but it's cash that I didn't have to spend on this. So this thing here was $13.99, and I went out and purchased this. And right off the bat, I got $550 off that price. So you can imagine, and then I had gift certificates. I didn't even use them all. So I had a really good transaction there. I feel really good just because I got so much off this system. Now this system's not going to be that much faster. I just needed the bigger screen really because I'm going to be doing editing off-site and stuff. I wanted a larger screen. The power is going to be plenty on this with the 16 gigs, and also the SSD is a lot faster, which we'll test soon. And then the crazy thing is if I would have sold this myself on eBay, take a look at this. Here's some sold listings. This one was just recently sold. It was sold for $649. Think about that now. $649 for the M1 Air base model. They're going for $750 new. I bought it for $850. I could have sold it online for $650. That would have only been a $200 difference, and I'm not even counting that. Let's take this a step further now. So that's one thing with the Macs, and people can say, oh, all computers get that or whatever, but let me just show you another example on a Windows PC here, or Windows laptop. So if you look over here, well, I'm going to talk about the Surface laptop for you. The reason I have this page up right here is, obviously just to show you when it came out. 2021 April. So this came out, 5 or 6 months after the M1 Air. So it's a newer device, this Windows device. That's step number one. First of all, before I get into that, take a look at this screen here. So the one I'm talking about here is the i5 model. We're going to talk about right here, i5 model. And this is the one that's, let me get in here. It is, how much is it? It's the 8 gigabyte 512 right there. You can see $13 to $1,400. So I think $1,300 was the consumer price for this device we're going to talk about. Again, $1,300. It's a newer device. If someone bought that in 2021, what is it worth now on the Best Buy trade-in? Well, take a look over here. Here it is right here. I went to Best Buy, the same process that I used for my M1, $300 refund, all right? So let's put this in perspective. $1,300 device, you get $300 back. It's a newer device, all right? Obviously, that's a big problem. With the M1 MacBook Air, I bought mine for $850 earlier, and I got $550 back. So the difference there is massive. You can see that I'm getting like 60 or 70% of the value of that computer back. Here, you're getting less than 30%, maybe 20% of the value back. And there's a big difference there when that cost comes back and it's not going into your pocket when you upgrade later. You can see that a lot of these Windows laptops is going to be the exact same thing with. You're always going to get a worse value on the trade-in just like this. I mean, $1,300 for that device is still, you can argue that that's not even worth that. I mean, a lot of people, just to start, a lot of people say Macs are expensive. I mean, that was a Windows, what is it called here? It's the Surface 4 laptop, 13.5 inch. It's only got an i5, 8 gigs of RAM, just like, you know, the M1 Air, and then 512, a little bit more space there. But still, $1,300 versus what I got it for on sale for $850. First of all, right off the bat, what's more expensive? But then on the resale value, I'm getting more back. And that's pretty eye-opening and a pretty good example to show you, and real-world example on right now on Best Buy in 2024, this is what you're up against when you buy Windows. And then you might say, well, if I go out and try to buy that on eBay or something, take a look over here. People are still selling that. They're only selling it for $324. And again, this device was $1,300, and it was a newer device than the M1. So even on eBay, you're only going to get around $324, $325. Then you got to ship it, and you got to do all that kind of stuff, and you got to go through that whole process. So this is not a good way to do it either for an extra $25. So you're still stuck at that $300. Now I get it. There's a lot of Windows PCs out there, Windows laptops, things like that. They're a lot less expensive than an Air, even at $750, or something like this at $1399. But you get the upgraded RAM and everything. But still, there's a lot more and less expensive options on Windows, and I understand that. But I'm talking premium systems. So when you get up to premium systems on Windows laptops and stuff, the price is going to be very similar. So you got to compare premium Windows laptops with Macs because they're both in a premium category. You can't say, oh, I can go ahead and get a $400 Windows, laptop, and then I'm going to compare it to an Air or something. They're just not in the same realm as far as the build quality and all that kind of stuff. So you got to always factor that in. So when we think about that, these systems are about the same cost, but you get such a better resale value for the Mac, and there's just no way around it. I mean, people can argue it a lot of different ways. I'm sure there's specific examples here and there that might hold true where, there's maybe a model that didn't ship a lot of units and it's worth a lot more or something. But overall, this is, as a general rule, something that you should always take to heart, is that money's coming back to your pocket when you want to trade it in, especially if you're trading in every 3 or 5 years. It's going to be worth just so much more. So anyways, I want to wrap this up. You guys get the idea. I have the new, for a couple of my videos coming up, I have this new 15-inch right here, fingerprint magnet. It's the M2 Air with the upgraded 16 gigs of RAM and all that stuff. So we'll do some videos on that. But I did get it for 500 and something bucks off because of my beloved M1, which I'm kind of sad I got rid of. But times change. I have to, and I have a channel. I got to do more videos like this. So I figured I'd try this out. And let's hope I like it. Hopefully it works off-site. Big screen here, beautiful screen. Can't complain. And at the end of the day, we'll talk to you in a couple days. Like I always say, peace.